definitions and try to understand the meaning of different terms. Okay. So let me. So the objective of today's class is that we get an understanding of what is entanglement. So the simplest system or a simplest quantum system that we can consider is, of course, a two-level system, or we call it as a two-state system. This is the simplest uh, quantum system that one can think of. For example, a spin half particle. Spin half particle. A spin half particles spin. Okay, like spin half particles spin. If you consider that, then for a given direction, you have two states. You can call it up and you can call it down. So these are two different states. Or something like polarization. Polarization of photon. In this particular case, you can even talk about polarization of an electromagnetic wave, because that is also only two states are there. I can say is horizontal, vertical. The simplest quantum system is simply called a two-state system, and this has got a name in quantum. Uh, Normally, you call it as a quantum bit. The information is stored in bits. So classical bit is, for example, when you talk about a classical bit, has two values, right? It can be 0 or it can be 1. So quantum bit is a two-level system. So in general, it is called a qubit, a shorthand notation called a qubit. So you ask what is a qubit? Qubit is basically a two-level system. Now abstractly, we can write down. So denote two levels, to be 0, 1. So these are the two levels, and you can think it in terms of I have an energy level or whatever state it is 0. I have another state 1. Okay. So this is basically our two-level system, and now quantum mechanics of two-level system. One of the important features is that um these two levels, this 0 and 1, will form a basis for the Hilbert space. So the state space of a qubit. If you ask what is the state space of a qubit, so it is a two-dimensional Hilbert space. Okay? Two-dimensional Hilbert. That means, and this states that 0, comma 1, these are basically two states, is a complete orthonormal, basis. So let us call this Hilbert space as H, basis of. Okay, what does that mean? It is orthogonal. That means 0, 1 is equal to 0, and this is normalized. So 0, 0 is equal to 1, 1 is equal to 1, and it is complete in the sense when you take 0, 0 outer product plus 1, 1 outer product, you will get identity. So this complete means this is the meaning of that, and orthogonal means this is the meaning of that, and normalized means this is the meaning. So this forms the complete orthonormal basis. Now, the most important aspect of quantum systems or quantum mechanics is that uh, the most general state of, a qubit is, let's denote it with some alpha, which I can say it as C1 times 0 plus C2 times 1, such that modulus of C1 square plus modulus of C2 square is equal to 1. And C1 and C2 are complex coefficients. This is the most general state. Now, this is where a qubit is very different from a classical bit, because classical bit, sometimes people call it a C bit. The C bit can take only two states. It can be 0 or it can be 1. Whereas a qubit can actually take, so the state of a, so we can say this is state of C bit can be 0 or 1. Now, the state of qubit can be anything, correct? So that means uh, you can say that the state can be infinitely many infinite possibilities, because for any C1 and C2, it can be one possible state. There are infinitely many states. So that is why when you are trying to encode information in one C bit, you can only encode two possibilities, whereas here you can encode more information than that you can encode in a C bit. So there is something which is some interest in this one. So this will help us in using this qubits in a different way for encoding and transferring information in quantum systems. Okay, so this is what we call as superposition. We say that this is superposed. Superposed. So this is very important concept, and we will come back to this concept again and again and again. So the superposed state is possible in quantum mechanics. Now uh, we can talk about parameterization of the state. So parameterization of the states of a cube. Now, instead of saying I have C1 and C2, two complex numbers, I can cleverly write it in such a way that this condition, okay, so this condition, I don't have to put it. Okay, so suppose if I don't have to put this condition explicitly, okay, so what I can do, I can say that, uh, so let me try this option. Try that maybe I say this alpha is equal to some cos theta times 0 plus some sine theta times sine theta 1. Okay, so now uh, this is fine because cos square theta plus sine square theta is always 1. So I don't have to write mod c1 square plus mod c2 square is equal to 1. But now we ask a question, for some range of variation of this theta, will this exhaust all possible states? Description of all possible states. If you ask that question, the answer is no, because these two are real constants. Cos theta is real, sin theta is real. But C1 and C2 can in general be complex. So, if we are planning to write this one, suppose let's say I write alpha is equal to, so let us say, so we started with this C1 of 0 plus C2 of 1. Okay. Then we can ask a question. Suppose C1 and C2 are constants. So let me write down C1 to be some R1 into e power I theta 1, because a complex number can always be written in this way. C2, let me write it as R2 into e power I theta 2. Let me write it like that. Then what will happen? My alpha can be written as R1 into e power I theta 1 0 plus R2 e power I theta 2 0. Sorry, this is 1. Okay. Now, we know that, so this is another important thing. Quantum states can be described or determined only up to an overall phase. What does that mean? That means some psi and e power I phi times psi are same. That means you cannot say that these two are two different states. Only up to a phase factor you can determine. Okay. So now I can write this in the following fashion. So let us now look at alpha, and I will pull out e power I theta 1, and then I have r1 0 plus r2 into e power I theta 2 minus theta 1. Okay, I theta 2 minus theta 1 into 1. So this is an overall phase. Okay, so this is an overall phase, the global phase. Global phases are not important. We can ignore them. Now, the general state is something like this: a real number times 0 plus another real number into a phase. Theta 2 minus theta 1, I can now call it as some phi, whatever. So, some relative phase. So, this is the most general way in which we can represent uh, the linear combination. So, that means now I can say that uh, so now I can go back and then say that, okay, now let us try. So let us try this now. Alpha is equal to cos theta 0 plus sin theta into e to the power I phi into 1. This is fine because these are mod c1 square plus mod c2 square is 1, and this is in this form. Okay, so this is in this form, same form, and hence probably this is fine. But now we ask a question: what is the variation of theta and phi? Now, if phi is varying from 0 to 2 pi, because phi and theta both are angles, if phi is varying from 0 to 2 pi, theta is also varying from 0 to 2 pi, then this is fine. But then we can also ask the question, can we parameterize? Can we parameterize such that there is a geometric geometric visualization, of the state is possible. Okay, so here what do we mean by geometric visualization? Because we have two angles, okay, two angles. So this suggests, okay, that the state can be represented, can be located on the surface of a sphere. That means if you want to identify these two angles as the polar and azimuthal angle of spherical polar coordinates, then you have to do a small change, because in spherical polar coordinates, okay, so in spherical polar coordinates, so what we have in spherical polar coordinates is that your theta will go from 0 to pi, and phi will go from, the range of phi is 0 to 2 pi. So if we want to have theta to go from 0, if we can have theta to go from 0 to 2 pi, okay, then uh, so in this particular case you have no restriction, both theta and phi are going to 0 to 2 pi. Correct. So if I want all the states to be restricted to that value, so the to have this correspondence with the spherical polar coordinates, we require to write down this state alpha to be, instead of cos theta, we say cos theta by 2 times 0 plus sin theta by 2 into e to the power I5 times 1. So if we have this kind of a general description of a state, then you can say that uh, all all states of qubit are they they are basically points on on the surface of, there is no uh, problem about the radius now, so let us call this as a unit sphere, on the surface of a unit sphere. So like we say that, let's say that we have let's simply think of um, so let us think of a coordinate system, and then think of a sphere. So this is a sphere. So let's call this as x, this as y, and this as z axis here. Now, if you have a point, so this is a point, and then this is your so this is a unit sphere, and this angle is your theta, and if you project it onto xy plane, this angle is your phi. So this is same as your spherical polar coordinate angles. So if you look at this one, so the sphere whose points are the states of qubit, this sphere has got a name. It is called block sphere. Block sphere. A similar thing is also valid in the case of polarization. So in the case of polarization states, polarization states of light, uh, this sphere was called Poincare sphere. Actually, there is no difference between these two. Both are same. It's called Poincare sphere. So Poincare sphere and block sphere are same. Okay, so now the whole point is that the so suppose, let's say that you want to represent some known points. Let's say you want to, so when you take theta equal to 0 and phi is equal to 0, then you are going to talk about this point, correct? So this point that we have, so this point is our 0. And suppose if you take theta equal to pi, okay, so cos pi by 2 is 0, sin pi by 2 is 1, and phi equal to 0. So that corresponds to a point which is diametrically opposite this one. Okay, so this point, which is diametrically opposite that one, is your 1. Okay, so if this is a horizontal polarization in Poincare sphere, this is what you call as horizontally polarized light, and this is what you call as vertically polarized light. Horizontally polarized light, vertically polarized light. Now you can have a situation where theta is pi by 2. That means this will be cos pi by 4, sin pi by 4. So 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. And let's say phi is 0. That means you are going to have a point here. Correct. So this point is basically 0 plus 1 by root 0 plus 1 by root. Now diametrically opposite to that one, that is somewhere on this point. So let's say diametrically opposite at this point, you will have 0 minus 1 by root and so on. So whatever is the point that you want to represent, there will be some uh, points on this block sphere. So this is a geometrical visualization, and you can use this geometrical visualization for our purpose in for whatever purpose this kind of a geometrical correspondence is very useful. So this is about so now what we have done. So in summary, we have we have characterized all states of qubit, and and a parameterization led us to the geometric representation of states as points on block sphere. Okay, so this is our this thing about a single qubit. So now let us go to slightly. So as I told you, our aim is basically to understand entanglement. So we have now talked about the simplest quantum system, and for entanglement, we require two systems. Okay, so consider two qubit system. Consider two qubit system. That means there are two qubits. Okay, so you can have a qubit 1, you can have it's a two-state system, 0, 1. So this will be our qubit 1, and then you can have another from 0 and 1, and we can call this as or you can say that this is qubit A and this is qubit B. Now we would like to describe. Okay, so the state space of this one, state space of this one is a Hilbert space HA, two-dimensional, and state space of this one is a Hilbert space HB, which is also a two-dimensional. Now we would like to describe description of the composite system AB. How do we describe this composite system A? Okay, so you can have a situation. Suppose, let's say that these two systems are not interacting with each other. Okay, these two systems are not interacting with each other. There is no interaction. They are far away from each other. Let's assume for this case. So assume that they are far away from each other. They are far away and do not interact. So in that case, how do we describe that? Now that's very simple to describe. Suppose, let's say that so let's say that you have a system 1 here, a system A here, and system B here. Okay, so it may be a situation that system A is in the ground state and system B is also in the ground state. Okay, so what will be the state of a combined system? So this is the state of 0 A, and this is the state of 0 B. So what is the state of a combined system? So state of a composite system we will simply write it as 0A, a product like this, 0. First, we have to understand what is this is called a tensor product. Okay, so we will come to that what that is. But right now, let me say that it is 0 some tensor product 0B. In shorthand notation, we can also write this. As 0 0 of AB. That means simply A is in 0 state, B is in 0 state. So this is one possibility. What is the other possibility? Okay, so this is one possibility. What is the other possibility? The other possibility is that you may have a situation where you have two qubits. So this guy may be still in the ground state, but this guy may be in the excited state. That means this state is 0A and this state is 1. So combined state is now 0A tensor product 1, or you write this as 0 1 AB. Okay, so you represent this one as 0 1 AB. This is another possibility. Okay, so this is first possibility, second possibility, and what is the other possibility? there are two other possibilities. Other possibility is that you have a two-level system like this and another two-level system like this. Now, this guy can be here and this guy can be here. So that means this is 0A, sorry, this is 1A and this is 0B. So combined system is written as 1A tensor product 0B, or in shorthand you write this as 1 0 of AB. So this is one possibility. And what is the other possibility? The other possibility is that both of these qubits are in the excited state. So let's say this is here and this is also here. So then this is called 1A, this is called 1B. So the composite state is 1A tensor product 1B, or this can be also represented as 1A. Okay, so these are the possible scenarios of uh, the composites. How do we describe the composite system? And of course, here I said that we are assuming that they are far away and then they do not interact with each other. So, uh, the composite system, okay, so the composite two qubit system. So, when you consider a composite two qubit system, then the state space, if I call this as HAB, this is going to be HA tensor product of HB. Okay, so this is somewhat like similar to what you see, what you what you do in addition of angular momentum. Okay, so in addition of angular momentum, so if you have a Hilbert space for angular momentum J1, a Hilbert space for angular momentum J2, for the total angular momentum, the Hilbert space will be combined HA cross HB. Now the dimension of this Hilbert space HAB is equal to dimension of the Hilbert space HA and multiplied by dimension of the Hilbert space HB. So in this case, we have 2 into 2, that is equal to 4 dimensions. Now for this 4-dimensional Hilbert space, okay, for 4-dimensional Hilbert space, four-dimensional HAB, we have now states, which I will call it as 0, 0. Let me not bother about writing AB every time. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. These states, okay. So for a 4-dimensional, there are 4 vectors, right? Okay, so this actually forms a complete orthonormal basis. Okay, so this uh, gives a complete orthonormal basis. 4-dimensional space, and hence we have to have 4 vectors. Now these are you can show that these are orthogonal, they are normalized and all that. So you can see that because you can see these 4 categories that I have discussed here with respect to the two-state systems are, so if If the state is in one of these configurations, then it cannot be in the other configuration. So that is the meaning of saying it is orthogonal. Okay. So this forms a basis for the 2-qubit space. Okay. So now we can talk about uh, most general state. Okay. So general most general state of HAB, okay, a 2-qubit state space, is given by, okay, so we are going to write this as, say, some alpha that is equal to some C0 times 0 0 plus C1 times 0 1 plus C2 times 1 0 plus C3 times 1 1, such that what is the condition? These complex numbers C0 mod square plus C1 mod square plus C2 mod square plus C3 mod square is equal to 1. Okay, this is equal to 1. So this is what we call as the most general state. The most general state of 2-qubit space is given by this. Okay. So this is consistent with our superposition principle. The superposition principle is valid, the most general state will be the most general superposition of all the bases. Okay. So now let us try to understand some special cases. Okay. So some special states, some special cases. So first, let's say that C1 is equal to 0, and sorry, C1 is not equal to 0, or the specific C1 is equal to 1, and C2 is equal to C3 is equal to C4 is equal to 0. Okay, C1, C2, C3, C4 are, I have used C0, right? So C1, C2, C3 are equal to 0. What does that mean? So let us call that state as alpha 1. Alpha 1 is equal to 0, 0. Now, what is this state? This state is basically, if you go back and then look at the way that we have written, the state is corresponding to this one, to this description, right? This is your 0 0. This is the state. Okay. So now you can say that the state is equal to, so 0, A is in the ground state, and E is also in the ground state. Okay. So if you ask a question, what is the state of qubit A? Suppose if you ask this question, the answer is, it is 0. So you can also ask the same question with respect to B, and then the answer is 0. Correct? So this is my first example. Now let me consider another example where, let me say C0 is equal to 1 by root 2, C1 is equal to 1 by root 2, and C2 is equal to C3 is equal to 0. So let us call this state as my alpha t. So that is equal to 1 by root 2 0 0 plus 1 by root 2 0 1. Okay. So let me write this one as, so this one can be written as 1 by root 2 into 0a product 0b plus 1 by root 2 0a plus 1, sorry, product 1b. Now if you look at these two cases, 0a is here and 0a is here also. So I can pull that out and write this as, this is nothing but 0a product 1 by root 2 into 0b plus 1b. Okay. So now we can ask a question. So if you ask a question, uh, what is uh, what is the state of a qubit A? Ask this question. What will be your answer? Your answer is the state of A is 0A. Now you ask the same question with respect to state of B. Now you have an answer. The answer is not 0 or 1, but it is 0b plus 1b by root 2. This is a quantum mechanically a valid state, and you know what the state is. It is 0b plus 1b by root 2. So here also I am able to answer these questions. That is, uh, so what I am trying to say is, so far what so far the experience is such that in both states, say alpha 1 and alpha 2, we know the state of a composite 2 qubit system, and also the states of uh, qubit A and qubit. So please understand that in alpha 1, this is the state, 0 0 is the state of the whole system, and state of qubit A is 0, state of qubit B is 0. In this particular case, this is the composite state, that is 1 by root 2 0 0 plus 1 by root 2 0 1. And then you ask the question, what is the state of A? Plus 1 by root 2 for B. So far, the experience is such that in both cases, alpha 1 and alpha 2, we know the state of composite 2 qubit system and also the states of qubit A and qubit B. Now let us look at a third case where I will consider C0 is equal to 1 by root 2, C1 is equal to 0, C2 is equal to 0, and C3 is equal to 1 by root. C3 is equal to 1 by root. So let us call this as alpha 3. So alpha 3 will be equal to 1 by root 2 0 0 plus 1 by root 2 1 1. Okay, so this is basically equal to 1 by root 2 into 0 a product 0 b plus 1 by root 2 times 1 a product 1. Okay, so now you see I cannot take anything common because here a state is 0, here it is 1, here it is 0, here it is 1. So there is nothing more that I can do beyond this. Okay, so importantly, if I ask this question, what is the state? What is the state of qubit A? If I ask this question, or equivalently, I ask what is the state of qubit B? If I ask this question, then we generally have no answer. What does that mean? That means cannot be stated, or I don't know whether it cannot be stated or okay. So let me write it at this moment. We will try to manage. So it cannot be stated. There is no. We cannot tell what is the state of qubit A or what is the state of qubit B. But we know the total state is given. Total state is completely known. Okay. So this kind of a state where the state of complete system is known, but the state of individual systems are not known. Okay. So such states are called entangled states. Okay. In the previous case, where we know that state of full system is known and state of independent systems are also known. Okay, that means the state can be written as some state of A product some state of B. Okay, so in that case, we will be able to say what is the state of A and state of B. Correct. Whereas in this case, I will not be able to write this as a product because I cannot pull anything of A multiplied by B like that from these two. Okay. So such states, that is alpha 3 is an entangled state. Entangled state. Okay. So quantum states of a composite system of 2 qubits. Right now, let us talk about qubits. So these quantum states of composite system of 2 qubits, they will be two types. One is product states, or they also have another name, are separable states. That means it can be separated into state of first system multiplied by state of the second system. They are called product states or separable states. And the other type of systems states are called entangled states. Entangled states. So you can say that if you have a product state or separable states, okay. Um, so in this case, what happens is that knowledge of the composite state composite state okay composite state uh, knowledge of the composite state gives the information of the states of constituent system. So what in entangled state? Entangled state knowledge of the composite state does not provide any information of the states of constituents. So you have a complete knowledge of the composite state, but that does not in any way tell you what is the state of constituent systems. So such states are called entangled states. Now you can see, okay, let me just give you one more example. We have three examples discussed here. So let me take a fourth example. So fourth example will be, let's say C0 is equal to 1 by 2, C1 is equal to 1 by 2, C2 is equal to 1 by 2, and C3 is equal to 1 by 2. So what will be my alpha 4? Alpha 4 is equal to 1 by 2 into 0, 0 plus 0, 1 plus 1, 0 plus 1, 1. Okay, so this you can write it as 1 by 2 into 0A product 0B plus 0A product 1B plus 1A product 0B plus 1A product 1B. So now you can see that here I have 0A and here I have 0A. So I can write this is 1 by 2. This is equal to 1 by 2 into, I can pull this 0A product 0B plus 1B. This is from these two equations. Then I have 1A product 0B plus 1B. Okay. So now you can see that here I have 0b 1b, and here also I have 0b 1b. I can pull that out. So that is equal to 1 by 2 into 0a plus 1a product 0b plus 1b. Okay. So which I can write it in the following fashion. This is the product here. So this is equal to 1 by 0a plus 1a by root 2 product 0b plus 1b by root. So now if you ask a question, what is the state of qubit A, that is given by 0a plus 1a by root 2, and similarly state of qubit B, if you ask, that is 0b plus 1b by root 2. So what is this state? This state is, so this state is a separable state, separable or a product state, not an entangled state. Okay. So we can see that only those states where you cannot talk about the state of individual systems are entangled states. Okay. So now we can ask a question that okay, one example I gave, but then I can talk about different entangled states. Okay. So now we ask uh, the next question like this. So suppose if we have entangled state. Okay, so now we have some understanding of what an entangled state is, and we can recognize what entangled states are. So given okay, so given an entangled state of a 2-qubit system. So what actually I mean by this is that uh, suppose you consider that 2-qubit system is an entangled state. So if you consider that if 2-qubit system is in an entangled state, then uh, then what can we say? What can say, or how can we obtain the information on the state of uh, individual qubits. So this is the question that we would like to ask. So let us say that so let the 2-qubit system be in an entangled state given by, let's say, some phi equal to 1 by root 2 into 0 0 plus 1 1. Suppose you are in some entangled state like this. Now the question is that uh, how to get the state of qubit A or qubit B. We are not able to say anything by seeing it like in the other cases, but how can we get that state? Okay, and this is where one of the statement of Einstein Podolsky Rosen paper, you should understand the only way to get the information about the state of a subsystem is by doing a measurement. Okay, you will not know the state of qubit A or qubit B. You have to do a measurement. Okay, so to get any information about the state of A or state of B is only by doing some kind of a measurement. Okay, so let us say that we can do some measurement. Okay. So as per EPR, we have to perform a measurement. We have to perform a measurement. Now let's say that when we are trying to perform a measurement, okay, so you can say that uh, you are going to, so for this measurement purpose, okay, so for the purpose of this discussion, okay, so let us choose a spin system. So that spin system as a qubit. What does that mean? That means I'm going to call this 0 as up spin, and then 1 as down spin. Okay. So then what is this entangled state? Okay. So let us say that so choose without any loss of generality that this up and down states are eigenstates of, let's say, SZ operator in along Z operator. So then the entangled state. So entangled state entangled state of two spin system is now given by is equal to, let's call this as phi as usual, 1 by root 2 into up up plus down down. Okay. So now the point is that the two spin half particles, so two spin half particle system is prepared in the state phi, and then the two particles are spatially separated, and do not interact. Okay. So now I want to know now. Uh, so we would say that some at some time they were prepared, but now your particle one is somewhere here and particle 2 is somewhere far away from us. So there is a large separation. Now we would like to know, we want to know the state of particle 1. This particle we want to know. Okay. But the combined state is not going to give us any information. Correct? So combined state does not tell you anything about this. Okay. So the situation is that though we know the composite state, we get no information from that. So how do I get the information? How do to know the state of particle 1, we have to perform a measurement. On particle 1. To perform measurement on particle 1. Now, what kind of measurement you perform on particle 1 is, of course, you have to decide. So now let's say that, so let us measure SZ. Okay. So maybe I should simply call it as S1 of Z. Yes, SZ of particle 1. That means you are going to use some Stern-Gerlach operators or something like that to measure the spin of the first particle. So mathematically, I mean, I'm not doing anything on the second particle. I'm only trying to measure the spin of the first particle. Now, when I do that, what happens? So it is like so we so wave function collapse. Okay, so the wave function collapse or state reduction happens for the composite state. Okay, so this is the point which EPR also emphasized. Recall EPR. Okay, the wave function collapse or state reduction happens for composite state. So it is like it is like it is equivalent or okay, what is it? It is like measuring uh, two particles system with an observable defined as SZ tensor product identity. So second system I am measuring identity means I am actually not measuring anything. That's the meaning of that. So we can understand that when you measure SZ cross I, okay, so this is something which acts on or which is an operator on the full system and the full wave function. So the wave function collapse takes place. Okay, so let's say you do the measurement. Okay, so perform the measurement. And then let's say let the result obtained be +1. Okay, I'm saying +1, but remember this is in units of x cross by 2 or whatever. So if the result obtained is +1, then the state after the measurement is equal to what? Okay, the state after the measurement is, so look at the state that we have, up and down. So first one is getting +1 means it would collapse to this up state, right? So the state is basically up. Post measurement state is this. Now once you get this state, then you ask a question, what is SZ, or what is the state? What is the state of qubit B? If you ask this question, do you have an answer or not? You have an answer. The answer is up, because it has collapsed. Now after collapse, this is a product state or a separable state. Product state or separable state. So because this is a product state or separable state, you will be able to tell what is the state of the second system without doing any measurement on that system. Okay, so this is the situation which EPR was trying to argue, which we are able to argue in a simple way by using this spin and qubit language. So what they are trying to say is, you do a measurement and then the total wave function will collapse. Now, after collapse, this is no longer entangled. This is a product state, and hence we will be able to tell what is the state of the system B. We'll be able to tell what is the state of the system B. Correct? So you are not doing anything at system B, but then you can say that the system B will be in this state. This is one possibility. Okay, so this is one possibility. The other this possibility has got a probability R. And what is the other probability? Other probability is that uh, so result is -1. Then the state, that is post measurement state. So post measurement state is now down, and this is also a product state. This is also product or separable state. So you can ask a question: what is the state of B? What is the state of qubit B? You ask this question, and the answer is down. Okay, and this particular thing has got a probability half. Why? Because if you go back and look at this state, the 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. So that means modulus square of this one is so. So this what is this quantity? This is probability that both of them are up, probability that both of them are down, and hence both of them have equal probability. Okay, so this is this. So this is like correlation in the sense that uh, if you if you do a measurement on a system, whenever you get +1 here, you can predict with 100% probability that B is plus. If you do the same measurement of SZ on qubit B, it will also be +1. Now, if you get the result -1 here, you can predict with 100% with 100% certainty that there is a -1 on the other side also. Now, one can do a measurement to confirm your prediction, and it will come true. So this is the kind of correlation. But most important thing is that this correlation is something uh, which is slightly different from many of the classical correlations that we talk about. So let us try to just understand. Suppose, let's say, uh, so somebody is giving you. So let's say two of you have taken some two boxes. Okay, so there are two boxes here. So let's say this is box A and this is box B. Okay, and there is some gloves. Okay, so left hand gloves and right hand gloves. Okay, so gloves. Okay, so they have put in this one. In one left hand is there, in one right hand gloves is there. Okay, so now since this is completely sealed, you do not know what is there in what. And let's say that they shuffle these boxes, and then two of you take each one of the two of you will take one box each, and then go in different directions. Let's say you go this way and you go this way, and you travel for a long time, and then you reach here. Let's say box A is here, and then somewhere far away from here you have box B. Okay, So, but you do not interact any longer. You don't know where box B has gone or box A has gone. That also you may not even know. But and you don't know whether you have left gloves or right gloves. Okay, you don't know because it was shuffled. You don't know whether you have left gloves or right gloves. But when you open it and see, okay, so open open the box. Okay, before opening the box, okay, so remember before you open the box, you open the box. Okay, so you do not know you do not know whether the box contains left or right. Okay, you do not know this because you have not seen it. Somebody packed it and they shuffled it, so you do not know. But when you open the box, you will see. Okay, you will see. Let's say left. Let's say then then you are immediately sure you don't have to do anything, right? Because the one left glow is with you, the right glow has to be with box, right? So you can you can predict with certainty that box B has right glow. Okay. Box B has right glow. Now I am presenting this example, and then I want to know whether the correlation that we are talking in the above case, that is, if you measure sigma z, then you will immediately know that the other one is also. If you find this as +1, you can predict the other one is +1. If you find this as -1, you can predict the other one is -1. Is it same as you if you find this as left glow, you can say that the other one has a right glow? Do you think uh, these two are on same logical footing? Any any idea? Are they same? Mm. 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 Okay.
So I don't think they're the same
Mm.
because if we do a subsequent measurement,
Mm.
then if the spins get reversed,
Mm.
then that will affect the other outcomes, which is far away.
Okay. Any other any other comment about this?
I think those are same. Like if you open the first box, we'll get if it is right or left class.
Hmm.
Then other one will automatically know. Here also, I think after measuring, we'll know. Okay, it's in up state, the composite system. So definitely we know that one is up, the other will be also up. So if
Hmm.
we get down also, then if we know it is down, the other should be also down.
Yeah. So, so some of you may be thinking that recent, I think that window got closed, and I think one of the sentences that I wrote did not save here. So, so if you do not know whether, okay, before you open the box, you do not know whether the box A contains left or right loop. That's what we wrote. And you open the box, and if you find, okay, so if you find uh, L left loop, then you can predict. You can predict box B as R. So now I want you to understand a subtle point here. The subtle point is the following. Box A contains left globe. Sorry, this is box B. So box A contains left or right. Box B contains left or right. But if you have opened this box A, and if you find this left globe in this, now from the time you started till you opened the box, only left globe would have been there in that, right? It is only that you do not know. But the reality is that the left globe is there in the box all along. Similarly, the right globe is there in the other box B all along. Only thing is you do not know because you did not open the box. Okay. Now look at the situation in the above example. Is that is it like that? That is, if you have a state, okay. So now let's say that you have two particles in this state. Let's say 1/√2 up plus down. Let's say you take this particular state, and then you send particle one to this side and particle two to this side. Okay, and then after a long time, your particle one comes here, particle one comes here, and particle two goes somewhere here. Okay, so now if you measure this particle one or the spin of this particle one, okay, if you find that this particular particle has got up state plus one or minus one, okay, suppose you get this plus one, okay, suppose you get plus one. So let us say that uh, let us say you get plus one. Okay. Now the question I am asking is, suppose let's say this is t equal to 0, and then it is some t equal to some capital P or some other. Okay, so this is at some t. Now the question that I'm asking is, can we say can we say that the spin um, of particle spin of particle 1 is up state between 0 t equal to 0 and, or let me simply ask this question, equal is up before the measurement.
No, sir, I think no. Because it was the superposition state.
So we cannot say. The answer is definitely no here, right? The answer is no here. Now, if I ask a similar question here, that is, I have got that is you got L. Okay, can I say that? Uh, can I say that before opening the box, there are the globe in the box was L. Can I say like that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the answer, this is the difference between classical and quantum correlation. So this is yes and this no are the difference between classical and quantum correlation. Even though it looks like it's a nice analogy, but the answer for this question is yes here, and the answer for this question is no here, is the difference between classical and quantum correlation.
So if we make
So
a subsequent, sorry, should I say so? So
no,
if we
when
make
you
subsequent measurement,
uh,
then the spin might get flipped. So that will affect the other one. So will that be a difference?
yeah, so now what I'm trying to say is you make one measurement, then after that the system is coming to a product state. Then after that you do any measurement on this will have no effect on the second system. You follow,
So
no?
can you please explain it once more?
What I'm trying to say is that as we have discussed here, that suppose if you make a measurement and you get the result as +1, then the state is this. No, this is now a product state. Okay, this is like system one, system A and system B are not interacting. After that, you do any measurement on system one, system two doesn't care because there is no correlation now.
Okay, sir. But if we do carry out a measurement after a certain amount of time, that
Uh,
it becomes a superposition state.
yeah,
Not immediate.
it can become a superposition state of system one alone. Now, in order to make a system one and system two to entangle, you have to again bring them together and make them interact and things like that.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, in the above question, what will you say about the qubit for the state particle A, which is also spin down, right? The same question which you asked up, little bit up. You asked about qubit B, right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you ask the question what is state of qubit A, the answer is again up state, isn't it? I mean, for the first part, I'm saying.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's what, like, if so same thing only I said now. It's like you take the state upper state and we can make the entangled state with those two things only. We cannot do with the down state. That's what it is. Entangled state can you prepare in the up state. I mean, after the, I mean, if you take the state and if you make further measurements. That's what you're telling, right?
Yeah, if you do a further measurement, then there is no correlation between these two.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's that previous answer itself answered the question. It's like combined.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, so the measurement kills the correlation.
Measurement? Yeah,
Kills
correct.
the correlation.
Correct. See, our idea was to understand. See, if you go back to the question that I asked, that here I have asked this question, right? If you know the entangled state, given an entangled state of 2-qubit system, then what can we say, or how can we obtain the information on the state of the individual qubits? Okay, so for that I came to this spin situation, and then I said, okay, we have to do measurement for that. And if you do measurement, what happens is what we have discussed. And once you do measurement, then the collapse of the wave function kills those correlations. And then because we are getting a product state or separable state, we are able to predict the state of the other system without in any way disturbing that system. And this is what the reality part which EPR is talking about. Okay, so this is and then through this example of left go and right go, I wanted to distinguish the kind of correlation that we have in quantum systems is different to what a classical correlation can be built up in this case. So still, of course, we so now the point is that if you have, let's say, a pair of particles. Now you let's say the pair of particles are going in different direction, and I am doing SZ measurement on one of the particle. Then we can say something about the state of the first particle after the measurement is done. Then we can also say something about the state of the second particle. Now, is this all? Means this is not all, because normally when you talk about this what is called finding the state of a quantum system. Okay, so you have to think of doing some kind of a measurement on not one particle, but on a large number of particles, and then to determine what is the state of the particle. Okay, so maybe we will take this up in the next class, but we will try to ask this question: how do we actually determine the state? Somebody gives me a 2-level system, they don't tell me what the state is. Now how will I find out what the state is? This is an important question. And now in that, if we understand that process, now we will try to implement that process in this case. Given an entangled state, let's say somebody tells me that this is an entangled state. Now I want to find out the state of first particle. Then I have to do some measurement, but now I don't know, I cannot just do one measurement and then determine. I have to do many measurements, and then what will I get? And how do I understand what you get? We will take up these questions in the next class.
Sir,
Yeah.
for that spin state experiment, so we measure the state of first particle, and we do the measurement on the first particle. So if it gets spin up, then if we do the measurement in B, it has to be spin up.
Yes. Yes.
The probability was for the like results either +1 or -1. It is not about like whether
Yeah. Correct. So what I'm trying to say is that if you do a measurement on particle 1 and you get +1, then the second one is forced to be +1.
Yes, sir. So
But the probability to get +1 or -1 for the first particle is half.
Yes. It
But
has
once
nothing to do with.
so if you think of a conditional probability that second particle is 1 given the first particle is 1 is 1. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, sir. Yes. So also, sir, like before you started this experiment, there was a statement that choosing without any loss of generality that spin up and spin half states as eigenstates of SZ. I didn't get that.
Yeah. So essentially, what I'm trying to say is that when you are trying to choose your coordinate system, okay, one coordinate axis or one direction can be arbitrarily chosen, right? So I am going to choose my z-axis along the direction in which I applied my magnetic field, let's say. So there is no loss of generality, right? Whatever direction I apply magnetic field, I'm going to call it as Z. That's all.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other question?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, can you go to the starting of this class, today class? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Down, sir. Down.
Further down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Little bit. Here, sir. Sir, here theta by 2 term, how it comes?
So what I'm trying to say is that so if you I want this angle. Okay, so as I told you earlier, if your theta varies, let's say between 0 and 2 pi, okay, and then what happens is theta by 2 varies between 0 and pi, right? I'm dividing everywhere by 2, correct?
Sir, but in spherical polar coordinate, theta is between 0 to pi.
Pi, right? So that is why I want to use theta by 2.
Okay.
So that I can use it in the spherical polar coordinates.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, you represented the single qubit by the block sphere. So, can you represent the, multi-qubit or double qubit state in some kind of representation?
Unfortunately, we cannot represent, because single qubit is a very nice system where such a geometrical representation is possible, but there is no such very neat geometrical representation possible for a qubit system or multi-qubit system.
Okay, sir. Then also, we are neglecting the global phase of a state. So, why is this neglected? Like, how can we say that ket alpha is equal to e raised to I theta ket alpha? What is the?
So that is very simple. In quantum mechanics, I think this is the first thing that we learn. That suppose you take psi, okay, and then e to the power I pi into psi. Suppose you take these two things. These are two different mathematical states, but physics always. So how do we get physics from the state? So physics comes from probabilities and expectation values, correct?
Yes, sir.
So physics is always coming from the probabilities and expectation values, and in both cases, this e to the I phi will cancel away in that case. That means this and this, they give same physics,
Okay,
and that
sir.
is the reason why we don't really bother about a global phase.
Okay, sir.
Sir?
Yeah.
So, as I was studying, I found that there is a way to represent more than one qubit, and that is why it's Q sphere, but that involves color representation also. But it is little
Correct. Yeah,
more qubits, it's little difficult.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are efforts. People are now trying to see some way of representing them geometrically. But my answer is with respect to having a very simple representation like this. Okay,
Yes,
so,
sir.
of course, there are efforts. People are trying to represent them in the best possible manner. So, yeah, you are true that there are some attempts to represent them in some way.
Sir?
So
So
there
almost-
are attempts to represent this higher dimensional, that is multi-qubits in some way geometrically, but it's not very straightforward like in block sphere.
So higher dimensional means you meant like three state system, four state system like that, or like two qubits together or three qubits together like that.
See, even if you take a Q-trit system, that means three-state system,
Yes, sir.
okay, there is no very neat geometrical representation like what we have in block sphere.
Yes, sir.
Correct. So when you take a three-dimensional system, of course, there are some ways of representing some partial constrained state space. Some subspaces of the whole state space are represented. Some tetrahedron like that. There are some works are there, but there is no way in which a full state space can be represented, like in the case of single qubit.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, then we will close.
Sir, I just got on the mail came from PIFR. I'll let you know the results.
Okay.